Hi there, Agile friends. Get ready for the World Tour of Agile at the Agile Online Summit 2023. You can join us from October 24th to 26th for a global showcase of cutting-edge Agile practices and insights. Join us at agileonlinesummit.com. This year, we will be featuring some of the best work done around the world and world-class keynotes. You can check all of that at agileonlinesummit.com. But the best part is that your ticket is on us. That's right, it's free to attend and immerse yourself in the world of Agile excellence. Don't miss out on this opportunity to level up your skills and network with peers and industry experts. Mark your calendars and secure your spot at AOS 23 today by visiting agileonlinesummit.com. So get your free ticket or opt for the full digital pass that lets you keep all the conference videos forever and organize, why not, Agile learning sessions at work. You can get the full digital access at agileonlinesummit.com. I'll see you in the conference floor. Hello, everybody. Welcome to one more week of the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast. This week, joining us from Germany is Danielle Braun. Hey, Danielle, welcome to the show.
Hello, Vasco. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to have you. So Danielle is a Scrum Master and systemic coach. She strongly believes in the power of teams and that we carry the solution to all the challenges within us. Very important mantra and belief for all coaches out there. So Danielle, that was a short intro. Tell us a bit more about yourself and how did you end up becoming a Scrum Master?
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Vasco, also for the introduction. So the truth is I had to be forced into becoming a Scrum Master. A colleague approached me and asked me if I want to become a Scrum Master. And I've never heard before of such a thing. And the way she explained it to me did not sound too appealing. And I declined right away. And But she was quite persistent because she said I would be a good fit for that. And when the next training was announced, she approached me again, and then I thought, okay, I give in, I give it a try. And after the training, so the training was held by an external trainer, and this person was really great. And I understood now what it is, and also how powerful this framework can be when it's utilized properly, and how inspiring it can also be for each team member to work in a self-organized way. So when the company then decided also later then to train a group of Scrum Masters to become PSM1, I didn't even have to think about it.
So you were a convert.
Yes, so to say, yeah.
Very good, very good. And I imagine that in these first experiences as a Scrum Master, things are not always easy, even though we might find our vocation, and many of us do find our vocation when we finally start the role.
Absolutely.
And because today is Fail Monday, we were talking about last week how it can be also called the Pain Monday, of course, because we go through some failures that are actually sometimes quite painful for us, but we share them because we believe there's a core of knowledge, of learning that we need to share with the wider community. So Danielle, tell us a story of that moment for you, right? Like a moment of difficulty as a Scrum Master, and we'll dive into how you overcame it and the insights later. But tell us that story first.
Yeah. So my very first Scrum project was the team was supposed to deliver a plan for a pilot area that was planned to be reconstructed into a new work environment. So where you really pick your you don't have your own desk any longer, but you have lots of offers for that really fit your needs. If you have to code something, then you can go to a quiet place, or if you have a meeting, of course, you go into a meeting room and such a thing. And that was the task. And
so it was to deliver a plan of how to go from reserved or fixed seating to more like on a need basis type of seating, right?
Yes. And also the whole change process to really help the affected group of people to see the benefit in this change, right? So because it's at the beginning they were afraid of simply losing their desk, and then they have to battle each day in the morning for a desk, because there's not a name sign on it any longer. So that was my first Scrum project. So
and tell us a little bit how it went, like especially walk us through like what were the challenges, the things that were harder for you, maybe even the mistakes you made, and then we'll dive into the solutions.
Yeah. So at the beginning, we underestimated the effort we would have to invest in getting the employees that are involved on board, and to convince them of the benefits of this new setup, so to say. And we did a lot of workshops with them and asked for their needs and what they would need to become or to still be efficient in their work, and not to simply see it as a disturbance. So the underestimation was really our first mistake. So because we were really convinced that it's a good thing, but the team said, no, that's crap. We don't want that. Where do I put my
And I guess
pictures?
That's also a realization, right? Like something we think is a good thing doesn't necessarily become a good thing for others.
Exactly. And so that was our first learning, and we were really, it put quite a damper on it. So because we thought, we will bring happiness to the people, but they didn't see it like that.
How did you adapt?
We changed our strategy, and we set up really a series of workshops. And we did world cafes, where we really asked them what they need to work properly. So we listened to our customers. So that
was the first realization that, okay, we need to step back and start listening to the to the customers, right? Like, and then you started through those workshops. What happened next?
What happened next? We saw the people changing. So when we showed them what's possible and what we could offer them with respect of a potential solution, they started to see it in a different from a different perspective. And then I think they accepted, so that this change really might be a good thing. So
and what clinched it? Like, what was the key aspect? Because of course, like when you present an idea, just because you start listening to people, that doesn't mean they're going to change their view, right?
Exactly.
Like, so you also had to do some changes on how you presented the idea, right?
And also, in each sprint, we presented them a part of the solution, so like a puzzle piece, and so they saw that their needs were translated into the potential solution. And when they started realizing that we not only ask them and listen to them, but we also take them serious and put their perspective into that plan, we gained trust with them. So, and then they started to like the idea.
So basically, they started to like the idea because they also felt that it was starting to be their idea, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I imagine that once you started to get this kind of, let's call it momentum, right? Like people are starting to come on board. I imagine that things started to roll more effectively, right? It wasn't just that you were listening and including the feedback, but also the things that were put forward at the end of every sprint, as you were saying, the people involved were kind of taking them up, right? Like they were accepting and they were moving along with them, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. So one of the things from this episode that I think is really worth highlighting is that it's perfectly possible to use Scrum for non-product development, right? Like in this case, you use Scrum for change management, which is awesome, right? Because Scrum is indeed very effective when used correctly, very effective in any process that requires constant adaptation.
Exactly. Yeah. So as you said, we didn't, I mean, in the end, there was a product, right? This area we called our product, but of course it's not really a software or something like that. But it's complex. We only had a vision what we want to deliver to the affected employees, but we didn't know for sure how we would do it. So we had to work in iterations and to check whether our idea was good or not, and then to adapt. So it was a perfect way to do it.
Absolutely. Getting feedback from the customer and adapting to that. That's a wonderful story. Thank you for sharing that, Danielle.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Monday is about what we learn from our obstacles and our failures. But tomorrow is Team Tuesday here on the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast. We explore teams and their journeys, the habits they develop that threaten their performance, how each of our guests help their teams evolve, and the one key lesson they learned from that experience. We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.